Let's talk about lines and what makes a line a line. They're also called linear equations. The lines are when you graph them. So a linear equation is an equation in two variables. It's an equation that doesn't have any exponents on it, and it's something like 3x minus 1 would be a classic linear equation. This is in what's called slope-intercept form because the slope, which is the constant rate of change, is the number that's in front of the x. When you've got y by itself like this, the slope is the number in front of the x, the coefficient of the x term. Got it? And the y-intercept is the number, the constant term next to it. Okay?
Okay.
So this is what I want you to understand about every line. Every line has a constant rate of change. So if I plot the points for this line, I could take and make a t-chart, and I could start plugging in different values for x. If I plug in a value for x, what does it give me when what does y have to be? Or what is y if I plug a -2 for x?
It's going to be
3 times, let's do the algebra. 3 times -2, which is -6, minus 1, which is
-7.
-7. -2, -7. Let's say it's down there somewhere. Alright, let's do -1 now. If I plug in -1,
-3 and -4.
you try it. If I plug in -1 for x, what am I going to get? 3 times -1 minus 1 is what?
I don't know, I'm confused.
Let's do order of operations. 3 times -1 is?
-3.
Minus 1 is?
-4.
-4. Good job. So -1, -4. It's right there. You do the next one. If I plug in 0 for x, look, I'm just making a bunch of I'm making a bunch of points, a table of values that make this equation true. In other words, I'm finding solutions. If I plug in 0, 3 times 0 minus 1 is 0 minus 1, which is -1. See that right there? Hey, what are these points all doing? What are all these
Lining
points
up
doing?
as like a
They're
linear-
lining up. Why? Because this is a linear equation. It's a line. All the values that make this equation true, all of the points, the ordered pairs that make this equation true, when I plug in something for x, let's try 5. When I plug in 5 for x, 3 times 5 minus 1, 15 minus 1 is 14. Guess where 514 is going to be? It's going to be right on the line. That's where it's going to be. It's going to be right on that line. All right? So a lot of times you'll get questions. There's a lot of ways they can ask these questions. You're going to have so let's talk again about what slope is, and I'll use a different color here. The slope, any 2 points on this line, if I take this point right here and this point right here, it doesn't matter which 2 points. If I take the rise between them, which is the vertical distance between them, that distance right there, which is going to be 14 minus 4. 14 minus a -4
is 18.
is 18. And the run right here, the distance, the horizontal distance between them is 5 minus 1. It's a total of 6, right? Because I'm going from
5
here.
minus 1 would be 4.
5 minus -1. 5 minus a -1, which is positive 6. And what's the ratio of the rise to the run?
2.
18 over 6 is what?
3.
3. That's the slope.
Really struggling over there, aren't you?
Yeah, a little bit.
Let's take 2 more points. Let's take this point right here and this point right here. What's the ratio of the rise to the run? How far up did I go? Remember, this point right here is 0, -1. This point is 0, -1. Got it? And what's this point down here? This was the first one I had.
-2.
It's -2, -7. So how far up am I going here?
7.
Nope, I'm not going up 7 because I'm going
6.
from -7 to -1.
6.
Right. So I'm sorry. Let's see what. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm using these 2 points right here. I'm going from -7 to -1. The formula for that is you subtract them. -7 minus a -1, and what's minus a negative?
Positive.
It's plus a positive, so that equals +6. Got it? And what's my run right here? How far am I going over horizontally?
2.
I'm going over 2 horizontally. So it's negative, and actually I'm going, in this case, I'm going, I'm starting, let's see, what did I start with? -7, so I'm starting with -2 minus 0. What's -2 minus 0?
-2 minus 0 is
Is
negative
-2. So it's actually -6 over -2. And what's a -6 divided by a -2?
2. A positive 4.
Positive
3. Dang it.
3, which is the slope of the line.
Ah,
So here's the takeaway. It's not impossible. It's just true.
I get it.
A line,
I don't believe
the
it.
characteristic of a line, the defining characteristic is between any 2 points, there is a constant rate of change. That means that the rise divided by the run is constant. It's always the same number in a given line. Okay?
Okay.
And the rise, notice how I found them, is when you take the 2 y values and subtract them. That gives you your rise. And the run is the horizontal distance. You take the 2 horizontal coefficients and subtract them. That's how you get your run. That's how you find the slope. Just be really careful that you put them in the right order. Like if you're going to start with the second, this point, like for this one I started with -7 first. So I need to make sure I start with -2 first on the bottom when I'm subtracting them. All right? And that's how that's a kind of a summary of lines and a little bit of an exploration into lines. And now it's a matter of actually doing them correctly, and check out the other videos for that.